1. This is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. Now this is the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. So it has two languages here, Swahili and English. The upper language is Swahili and the lower language that comes after Swahili is English. Now I'm going to read it on English. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the Lord, unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Now, this is a warning the Lord provide to the house of Israel. If they will not hearken unto the Lord their power, see, curses will fall upon them, and one among of these curses is slavery. See, saving our enemies. See, so on this lesson here, we're gonna deal about the lies of Babylon and the captivity of Jerusalem by King Nebuchadnezzar. So before I go any further, I'm gonna start by giving all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kwadash, the Bwana, to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do well. Peace, blessing, always, and salutation to you, Akiam, who are pushing these truths into the four wings of the earth to make sure that Jerusalem is established here on earth again as a place of worship, as it was in the days of old. Yahweh means the name of the Heavenly Father Almighty, whom the world ignorant call Yahweh or Jehovah. His only name is Yahweh. Yahweh. Bahasham means the name. Bahasham means in the name. Yahawashai means the name of the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the world ignorant call Jesus. His only name is Yahawashai. Rakaha Kwadash means the name of the Holy Spirit. So on this lesson here, we're going to deal about the lies of Babylon and the captivity of Jerusalem under King Nebuchadnezzar. So this is the book of Daniel chapter 7 and verse 4. It says, now this, let me read it. It says, "The first was like a lion and had eagle's wing. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it." Now this was the vision that Daniel had about the beasts that come up from the great sea and diverge one from another. So the vision was all about the kingdoms that came up and ruled this world. Different four kingdoms that came up and ruled this world. See? And the first is, as it said here in verse 4, it says, "The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked." So here it talks about the Assyrian Empire and the collapse of the Assyrian Empire, which was done by King Nebuchadnezzar. See? So actual King Nebuchadnezzar's father, who is Nabal-Palasar, rebelled against the Assyrians and took them down. And King Nebuchadnezzar at that time was a commander-in-chief in the army of the Babylonians. See? So the fall of the Assyrians led to the lies of the Babylonians. See? As the title says, the lies of Babylon and the captivity of Jerusalem by King Nebuchadnezzar. You see? So the captivity of Jerusalem happened, see, because the nation of Israel went astray from the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. You see? So at this time, at this time of the Babylonians, see, the northern kingdom were already taken away into captivity to Assyria by the king of Assyria, Shalmaneser. See, so at this time, the southern kingdom remained, and they also transgressed the law. They went astray from the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandment. See, the house of the southern kingdom had kings that rebelled against the righteous ways of the Lord. See, it had wicked, evil kings. You see, that kings rebelled against the ways, laws, statutes, and commandment of the Lord. See, so as it is said in the book of Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15, that if we will not hearken unto the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandment, these curses will fall upon us, and one among of these curses is slavery. See, serving our enemies. You see, so the Lord rose up King Nebuchadnezzar II and take us away from our land, to be servants, to be his servants in Babylon. And Israel was like a vassal state to Babylon. See, was like a province during the time of Babylonian Empire. You see. Now let's go and see about the captivity of Jerusalem. Now this is the book of 1 Ezra chapter 1. We start with verse 39 because there's a lot of information here, but it is history. It is history now. See, 1 Ezra chapter 1 and verse 39, it says, 25 years old was Joachim when he was made king in the land of Judea and Jerusalem, and he did evil before the Lord. See, he did evil things in the sight of the Lord. See, verse 40 says, wherefore against him Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up and bound him with chain of brass and carried him into Babylon. See, and the word bound here is synonymous with slavery. See, verse 41 says, Nebuchadnezzar also took of the holy vessels of the Lord and carried them away and set them in his own temple at Babylon. So there was a destruction of the temple of Jerusalem. You see? And the vessels of the Lord were taken away, see, from Jerusalem to Babylon. See? Verse 42, it says, but those things that are recorded of him and of his uncleanness and impiety are written in the Chronicles of the Kings. See, so in the Chronicles of the Kings, we can find the whole story about Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, from the lineage of David. See, and Joachim, his son, reigned in his stead. He was made king, being 80 years old. See, the son of Jehoiakim, who is Jehoiakim. See, there's just a slight difference in the pronunciation these two names. See, verse 44, it says, and reigned but 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and did evil before the Lord. So after a year, Nebuchadnezzar sent and caused him to be brought into Babylon with the holy vessels of the Lord. See, so there were a series about the captivity of Jerusalem. You see, series about the series of events about the captivity of Jerusalem. You see, verse 46, it says, and made Zedekiah king of Judea and Jerusalem when he was 21 years old, and he reigned 11 years. And he did evil also in the sight of the Lord, and cared not for the words that were spoken unto him by the prophet Jeremiah from the mouth of the Lord. See, now Zedekiah despised the words of the Lord, which he spoke through his servant the prophet. Verse 48. And after that, King Nebuchadnezzar had made him to swear by the name of the Lord, for he foresaw himself and rebelled, and hardening his neck, his heart, he transgressed the laws of the Lord, power of Israel. The governors also of the people and of the priests did many things against the laws, and passed all the pollutions of all nations, and defiled the temple of the Lord, which was sanctified in Jerusalem. See? So, and the people of the southern kingdom at that time, the people of Judah, they despised the laws, statutes, and commandment of the Lord, and started to serve the gods of other nations. See, Verse 50 says, Nevertheless, the power of their fathers sent by his messengers to call them back, because he spared them and his tabernacle also. But they had his messengers in derision, and they look, when the Lord spake unto them, they made a sport of his prophets. See, now now the people of Israel start to despise the prophets of the Lord. You see, started to despise the words of the prophets of the Lord. See, verse 52, it says, so far forth that he, being wroth with his people for his great ungodliness, commanded the kings of the Chaldees to come against them, who slew their young men with the sword, yea, even within the compass of the holy temple, and spared neither young man nor maid, old man no child among them, for he delivered all in their hands, and they took all the holy vessels of the Lord. See, so the destruction of the temple of Jerusalem was a result of the people of Israel going against the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandment. See, as it is said in the book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 15, if thou wilt not hearken unto the Lord's voice, these curses shall fall upon thee, and one among of these curses is slavery. See, bondmen and bondwomen in your into thy enemies, being a bondman and bondwomen into the lands of thy enemies. You see, verse 54, it says, and they took all the vessels of the Lord, both great and small, with the vessels of the ark of the power, and the king treasurers, and carried them away into Babylon. As for the house of the Lord, they burnt it, and brake down the walls of Jerusalem, and set fire upon her towers. See, so now with a total destruction in Jerusalem, the temple was destroyed. See, and all these are the result of the house of Israel transgressing the laws, statutes, and commandment of the Lord. See, that he set up for his people. You see, so the Lord rose up King Nebuchadnezzar in order to punish his people for they transgressed against his laws. See, so now we are going to read about the account of the captivity of Jerusalem. See, before that, let us read the book of Daniel, chapter 1 and verse 1 and 2. It says, in the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of power, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. You see? So the captivity of Jerusalem started under the reign of King Jehoiakim, king of Judah. This King Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. You see? And and this happened right after the end of the battle of Carchemish, which was the last battle between Babylon and Assyria. And the result was that Babylon were victorious over the Assyrians and the Egypts. See, so Babylon took over the jurisdiction that the former Assyrian Empire had. See, even near to Egypt. See, so let us go and read about the account of Babylonian captivity. Now here it says the Babylonian captivity or Babylonian exile is the period in Jewish history during which a large number of Judeans from the ancient kingdom of Judah were captives in Babylon, the capital city of Neo-Babylonian Empire, following their defeat in Jewish-Babylonian War and the destruction of Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. See? The event is known to be historical and is described in the Hebrew Bible in addition to archaeological and extra biblical sources. You see? So we are going to read this first paragraph here. It says, after the battle of Carchemish, see, which was the battle between Assyria, which Assyria had an alliance with Egypt against Babylon, the Medes, the Persians, and some states of Greek. You see, so after the battle of Kashimesh in 605 BCE, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II. So Nebuchadnezzar became the king of Babylon right after the battle of Kashimesh, besieged Jerusalem, see, which resulted in tribute being paid by the Judean king Jehoiakim. In the 4th year of Nebuchadnezzar's reign, Jehoiakim refused to pay further tribute, which led to another siege of the city in Nebuchadnezzar's 7th year, see, which could be almost 598 or 597 BCE, that culminated in the days of Jehoiakim and exile to Babylonia of his successor Jeconiah, see, who is Jehoiakim. His court and many others, Jeconiah's successor Zedekiah, and others were exiled when Nebuchadnezzar II destroyed Jerusalem in his 18th year, which is 587 BCE, and later deportation occurred in Nebuchadnezzar's 23rd year, which is 582 BCE. However, the dates, numbers of deportations, and numbers of deportees vary in the several biblical accounts. So this means that there were several a series or events about the destruction of Jerusalem, about the captivity of Jerusalem. See, and the story is told that many people were fleeing to Egypt. You see, many people were fleeing to Egypt. You see, See, let us read this. It says, in the late 7th century BCE, the kingdom of Judah was a client state to the Assyrian Empire. So this was before the rise of the Babylonians. In the last decades of the century, Assyria was overthrown by Babylon as an Assyrian province. So Babylon was an Assyrian province before it became an empire. Egypt, fearing the sudden rise of Neo-Babylonian Empire, seized the control of Assyrian territory up to the Euphrates River in Syria. But Babylon counterattacked in the process of Josiah. The king of Judah was killed in the battle with the Egyptians at the Battle of Megiddo. See? So after the death of Pharaoh Necho's army by the Babylonians at the Kashimesh in 605 BCE, Jehoiakim began paying tribute to Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon. See, some of the young nobility of Judah were taken to Babylon. See, and some of the young nobility of Judah here, Daniel was included, and his companions. You see, so the Lord rose up the Babylonians in order to punish his people, because the nation of Israel at that time they went astray from the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandment. You see? Now let us go to the book of 2 Chronicles 36. Now the book of 2 Chronicles 36, 5 up to 7 says, Joachim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and he did that was evil in the sight of the Lord his power. Against him came up Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and bound him in fetters to carry him to Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also carried the vessels of the house of the Lord to Babylon, and put them in his temple at Babylon. See, and these were the vessels that Belshazzar, the grandson of Nebuchadnezzar, used wickedly. You see? So Jehoiakim did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord rose up Nebuchadnezzar the second king of Babylon and put Jehoiakim into slavery. You see? Let's go to another verse. It is 9 to 10. Jump to 9 and 10. Second Chronicles 36, 9 and 10. It says, Jehoiakim, the son of Jehoiakim, was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. So he did the same thing that his father has done. You see? And when the year was expired, the king Nebuchadnezzar sent and brought him to Babylon with the goodly vessels of the house of the Lord, and made Zedekiah his brother king over Judah and Jerusalem. You see? So there was a series about the destruction of the temple by King Nebuchadnezzar. See? So the first time was during the time of Jehoiakim. The second time was during the time of Jehoiakim. And the third time, it is during the time of Zedekiah. So let's go down to verse 18 up to 20. It says, and all the vessels of the house of the Lord, great and small, and treasures of the house of the Lord, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, and the treasures of the king and of his princes, all this be brought to Babylon. Now this was the time of Zedekiah. See, Zedekiah and his people of Jerusalem despised the prophets of the Lord, despised the words of the prophets of the Lord. See, and continued to walk outside the line of the laws, statutes, and commandment of the Lord. See, the Lord sent again Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, see, to punish the people of Judea. See, now 2 Chronicles 36 and verse 18 says, and all the vessels of the house of the Most High, great and small, and the treasurers of the house of the Lord, and the treasurers of the king and of his princes, all this be brought to Babylon. And they burnt the house of the power and break down the walls of Jerusalem. See, the temple is destroyed now. See, and burnt all the palaces thereof with fire, and destroyed all the gold vessels thereof. See, so the temple was almost totally destroyed. You see, verse 20 it says, and them that had escaped from the sword, see, those that lived through the captivity and the destruction of the temple, were carried away to Babylon. See, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of kingdom of Persians. See, so the Israelites were the servants in Babylon since the time of Nebuchadnezzar the second king of Babylon, until the rise of the Persians. See, until the reign of the kingdom of the Persians. See, which the kingdom of the Persians started with Cyrus the Great. See, who made a decree that the Israelites should return and build their temple. See, so the captivity of Jerusalem by King Nebuchadnezzar happened because the house of Israel went astray from the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandment. You see, because the Lord does not act against his own words. So as it is said in the book of Deuteronomy 28 verse 15, that if thou wilt not hearken unto the Lord's voice, these curses shall fall upon thee. See, and one among these curses is slavery. See? So, I hope this lesson was edified to you all brothers out there. So I'm going to end up by giving all praise, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kwadash, Shalom.